Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and first off, a reminder that AmFam, amazing friends and mentors, the kindest squadron in War Thunder, still has room, and, well, we just want to leech off of you for those squadron vehicle research points. So, big shout out to Avagna Valkyrie. I think that's Black Widow 2 on the Discord. Thank you for your contribution. Everyone else, love what you're doing. Alright, let's get into the replay. I featured a lot of you guys in the replays, and I thought I'd just share this. You can see I didn't quite end up at the top of my team, but if you look at what we got out of this one, it was an interesting match, and just the way it all shook out was even more fun than it looks. There were thrills, there were spills, and for a while, Yuri was chill. But we'll talk about that in a moment after this thing loads. I'm using a bit of a different method for recording this one, using OBS and recording live, so hopefully this all works out for me. I'm kinda trying to get this done on the easy because it's almost midnight and I'm really not supposed to be up right now, but, well, I had one of those matches that I just have to share with you, so here goes. Here's to hoping the audio is balanced well. I'm recording this all, I think, in one track, so we'll just see how this turns out. We start off in the Zoot 37. So we're hoping to capture the point and kill any of the speedy boys that are there. Fast forward to the good part, and we heard someone, and that is indeed their booty, opening up, and with 5 shots we take them down. And the rest of the enemy team makes their presence known. Fortunately for me, that gave me just enough spawn points. We'll go ahead and close the map. We're going to the skies now by his spawn in the other 37mm cannon wielding vehicle we have here. This is the Yak 337. A Yak lag, it's one of those. I think it's the lag. Anyway, speaking of lag, those shots, I swear they were better aimed in the live match. But this aircraft is one of those really fun, weird, derpy Soviet vehicles. As you can see from our top-down attacks on these enemy tanks, it punches right through the upper armor, even potentially the side or rear armor, even the frontal armor of some of these tanks. So we're gonna have a good time. It's just a lot of fun. Not always do you get the chance to fly around in this thing, and you do need to watch out for the terrain. This is not the most smooth flying aircraft in the game, but it is interesting. It handles reasonably well for a heavy fighter. It is heavy, and it is a fighter. It's just a very overweight single engine boy in terms of Soviet aircraft, at least. And you can see Yuri here pulling hard on the shtick, or on the yoke, I think this one has, to keep us pulling those G's we need to stay in the fight. More top-down attacks on enemy tanks as we open up with our first kill. Those other vehicles we strafed should be good for an assist, and that's going to give us plenty of spawn points to stay active in the battle. But at this low battle rating, I just really enjoy this Lag 337. I actually did end up getting a critical hit on the Sonderkraftfahrzeug there with some of my first shots. Just don't quite show up in the replay properly, and I'm expecting enemy Stukas or BF-109s at any moment. Soon I will not be disappointed. Well, it will be a little bit disappointing to have more company in this airspace. The Lag 337, as I mentioned, not the most nimble fighter. It is very good as a ground attacker, fantastic, almost unmatched at this battle rating, but it's not actually classified as an attacker. So you're just kind of an extremely heavy... Oh, we just missed the ammunition on that Panzer IV. You're an extremely heavy light fighter. It is, as I mentioned, an oddball. Our first customer, could it be? No, I think that's actually an ally. But the skies are getting busy. As we check 6, we see 2, even 3 enemy dots. It's time to get out of here. I think I hear Babushka calling. I need to go home now. Now remember, if you don't fire off all your rounds before landing, the Commissar will have you shot. So... we are making our way back to the airfield, taking a look at what the enemy has to offer, and really thinking about looping around and taking a quick pass at that. I don't know if that's a heavy fighter, a duck, or what, diving aggressively there. It almost looks like he crashed into the ground, though. And indeed, seeing that, I think that's an allied Hurricane, get into the fray, I decide to loop around a bit. I have some energy. I'll try and climb a little bit, but again, the climb rate on this thing, not fantastic. We hear a fighter below us, even taking a few hits. That's a BF-109E, you can tell from the chugga-chugga of his MGFF-M cannons. As we go into the vertical against a Stuka, we're using the last of our energy here. Nice hit on the tail, but no even critical. And it's difficult to follow him. The BF-1... oh, sorry, that's the F4U pulling underneath us, and we can catch the Stuka here in the loop. There's sort of no reason for us to be here. We probably should have been back on our way back to the airfield. Dushka opening up with a nice critical hit on the Stuka as we follow him in the loop, and again, this is a replay. It's not going to look quite as accurate as in the live game. We end up getting some hits with the last of our Dushka ammunition. Pull out of the strafing run there in time to avoid running into the OG Flak Panzer and get out of the area before his 20mm cannon can put some very, very large holes in our airplane. So we've done it. We've shot up all our rounds of ammunition. The Commissar will be proud. Of course, he will be billing my family for the cost of those machine gun and cannon rounds. But we did our country proud. Or should I say, our glorious Union. Now, it's just a little bit of back to the airfield action, so I'll go ahead and fast forward through that for you. We had a perfectly beautiful Jingles landing here. You can see as things get a little bit bouncy on the runway. That was just bad, but we do even it out in time, and we are back into the skies of War Thunder in no time. And let me just remind you, the Lag 337, I think that's what this is. It could be a Yak. I'm really bad with my Soviet designations. I never fly Soviets. This is one of my favorite aircraft in the entire game. I'm very glad that I picked it up when I had the opportunity. I think I got it on the market. I could be wrong, but it had a really great price, and I think I paid around $8 for it. So just a really good deal overall. The skies more friendly as we spill some spaghetti on the ground. There you can see I think that's our Hurricane below us, and pulling in for our second loop. Look at how smoothly this aircraft gets on target when compared with other attackers at its battle rating. I mean, compare this with a duck and you feel so smooth in this aircraft. You have great gun performance with the solid shot. It doesn't do a lot of spalling, it doesn't have any explosive filler, and those are things you kind of wish for, but it does have a fantastic fire rate, decent accuracy, good muzzle velocity, not the most ammunition, but not the least either. All in all, a fantastic gun at a ludicrously low BR when compared with the Yak 9, which is where you really start to see this cannon again, a place where it is still famous. 3 enemy aircraft in the sky, and we don't have the energy advantage over any of them, so we're just taking our shots here, a few ghost rounds as the replay doesn't realize we were firing. We hear something behind us, so we pull into a loop from below. Again, very low on energy here, but we are going to take our shots anyway. Looks like we're below a Stuka, so we're not too worried about him turning on us, but we will get shot down by his teammates that I hear closing in short order. So we're just going for a crit, another hard hit. Can we finish him off? Not quite, and there it is. The wing crumples. We take critical damage to our engine with 2 enemy fighters on our tail. Oh, sorry, that's an ally and an enemy. Thank goodness that Tempest was there to back me up. And look at this beautiful close-in flying here. This is just cinematic. Are you not entertained? Now, check this out. We're actually on the tail of this BF-109 with a red engine with critical damage to our airframe. We get on target, a short burst, a critical hit, and his wing crumples. The Dushka taking it down with a just chugga-lugga fire rate, finishing off our enemy. Our engine now absolutely critical, just dying on a fast timer here as the skies have suddenly become clear. Yuri, you have done well. Soviet Union is proud. Now go splish splash in the ocean and die like true Privyet. Look at the cannon on this thing. So at this point we're definitely not going to make it back to the airfield. We're losing airspeed and only the excellent flight dynamics of this aircraft. It does have good energy efficiency and maneuvering energy retention, as you saw there against the BF-109, but none of that really matters if your engine is dead. We had a good run. You know what? This is a nice place. Hear the cry of the seagulls. Avoid the mewlings of the oppressed as we pop flaps, drop gear, and go in for, well, one of the most risky landing runs I've gone for in this game, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Let's get a soft landing for Yuri so he can retire in this nice seaside village. Can we, with the Dushka brake, slow down in time to become a monument instead of a tombstone? And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the lag of the lake. So this has been yet another fly out as the baby starts bouncing again. She fell asleep in her bouncer and now she woke up to the sound of Daddy's voice. Now she's bouncing, and we have reached our retirement. Now eventually I'm gonna get back into the battle, so let's jump back into our view and speed up time a little bit here. The fight on the ground was getting very heated, so I decided to get out of retirement and put Yuri into the cockpit of an airplane once again. Here we are in the early IL-2, and you notice this is the early model of the aircraft that does not have a gunner. We hear an aircraft, see an enemy being shot down, wonder if that's the only engine sound we heard, pop flaps, look around, and one downside to this graphics setting that I have here is that it's often difficult to see, especially BF-109s at distance, but there's a Stug or a Sturmhowitzer down low, dropping the bombs, and we get the kill with one of them. We dropped all 4 because these are only 100 kilo bombs, so you need a close hit to deal the damage, and as that Sturmhowitzer was on the move, we decided to pull the old carpet bomb. Turned out pretty nice for us. The IL-2, a very stable platform at low altitude, good at the flat turn, as we see our allies pinging the map down there, trying to clear the B point for our guys. Fire coming up from below is from friendly AA, who killed something on the ridge there, pulling in close to make sure that he finished off the target, and indeed he did. I could have checked the kill feed, but I just never seem to be in time on checking the kill feed. 20mm ground fire, no, 37, as the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 6/2 opens up on us. An old classic. Can't depress the gun over the cabin, so not the best tank destroyer, but under other circumstances, it's quite good. Firing the rockets, and they don't have the most explosive filler, so those poorly aimed shots are going to do nothing for us other than to get rid of some extra wing load, which is definitely something we want to do. Allied fighter closes in on one of the enemy ground-based AA. That's going to help us out a bit. Still being targeted by the Sonderkraftfahrzeug, so hopefully we won't eat around in the wing. It looks like he might be firing armor piercing, but that's still plenty enough to take us down if we're not careful. Serpentine, blind him with some cannon fire, close in for one quick strafing run, and get out of there. We set a fire, and we need to leave, as all of the crew in his vehicle are still alive. That truly is disappointing, and we have other things to worry about. Yuri, not looking to go on vacation in hell, manages to avoid the trees. The Squirrel King, thirsting for blood still. He will be sated. He will be sated. But if you looked at the scoreboard earlier, we're starting to get to that point where we were. We're going to pick up another ground kill, another assist, and we're not going to die again. Notice the nice rudder flip of the IL-2. If you manually input rudder commands, the tail of the IL-2 is quite responsive, both elevator and rudder performing well. The IL-2 has received a buff to its general flight dynamics overall, with the recalculation of wing polars, whatever that means, among other things. It really helps the IL-2 to maneuver efficiently and pull those beautiful close ground strafing runs like you see us doing. Again, the IL-2, even more so than in the past, a delightful ground attacker to fly. At this low battle rating, your 23mm cannons can shred lightly skinned targets, as you see us doing there, picking up some serious damage on the Sonderkraftfahrzeug that turns into an assist. Hearing allied aircraft in the sky, always welcome. Checking the B point for enemy vehicles, none to be seen. Again, a good sign. Another enemy vehicle being strafed by our ally, but he locks up and crashes into the ground. At low tier, that's something you see fairly often, and of course, your boy Toshio still suffers from that problem every now and then. A quick burst as we roll over on, what is that thing called? I can't remember the name of it. It's that derp tank. Hi derp tank, I loved seeing you in the live today, by the way. This is the same day that I recorded that live video, and that was one hell of a live stream, so that was a lot of fun. Look at the power of the rudder on the IL-2 as we kick the tail of this thing and pull a nice strafing run on that enemy self-propelled gun. It looked like, I thought we were taking fire there, but we still had our landing flaps out, so that explains that. And leisurely, we finish our last loop of the match, finishing off something of a marathon game in style. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed that. 2-7 Soviets is one of my favorite USSR BRs, and I think you see why. Let's take a look at this lineup. M3 medium, golden boy, T126. It's like a T-34 at a lower BR with the worst turret traverse in the world. Second to the Zut-37, which has that good fast-firing 37mm cannon that is somewhat hindered by its slow reload rate and horrible turret traverse. The I-29, a heavy fighter that looks cool and, well, doesn't perform all that great, but, you know, it is a heavy fighter. The Lag 334, that's the name of this thing. One of my favorite aircraft in the entire game. Y'all know how I love my attackers. The Su-57 at a 2.3, fantastic tank destroyer for its battle rating, good reload rate, 57mm American gun. There's really not much else you can ask for, and the early IL-2, 1941 variant. The only non-premium vehicle in my lineup, but with some primo performance, if you ask me. Anyway, a great ground and ground strike lineup and a lot of fun at a low BR. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.